WHAS 11 Weather First.
Storms are currently moving on through Kentuckiana right now. You're taking a live look over the city of Louisville as rain moves into the Derby City. Thanks so much for joining us here a little bit late here on the night team. I'm Alex Dieterer. We're getting you right to your weather first with meteorologist Alden German. Alden, with these storms, are we expecting them to turn severe tonight?
We have had a couple of severe thunderstorm warnings, but nothing at the moment. Here's Max HD radar. A lot of the rain has currently pushed out of the metro, but we are going to see some more moving in here, probably over the next 30 minutes or so. Perry County seeing a healthy thunderstorm at the moment, as well as southern Harrison County, south of Accordon there, north of Brandenburg, and English also seeing a downpour, but no thunder associated with that right now. Here's a radar loop of the last hour. You can see that these storms are moving kind of slowly, but they do have a little bit of movement to them, so the rain should not last too long in your neck of the woods. Broader view shows we do technically have a severe thunderstorm warning for parts of Franklin and Shelby County, but that's going to drop here in 1 minute as that storm has exited the region. And otherwise, this is the kind of activity we can expect to see for the remainder of it tonight. We might have one or two stray severe thunderstorm warnings over the course of tonight, but otherwise I don't expect us to have a significant severe weather event. Temperatures are going to stay fairly mild, only falling into the upper 50s as we wake up for tomorrow morning on Easter. But as we look ahead, we're tracking more chances for showers and thunderstorms, particularly as we head into early next week. That could result in widespread heavy rain and a better opportunity for some of those strongest severe thunderstorms. We'll take another look at radar coming up here in a little bit. Alex.
Thank you, Alden. A violent start to the holiday weekend here. 4 shootings in just over 24 hours. This string of violence has left 1 person dead and 4 others injured. The latest shooting happened just before 5:30 this evening. Police say they responded to the shooting near the St. Joseph neighborhood right here on Eastern Parkway and Bardley Avenue. When officers arrived, they found a man believed to be in his late 20s suffered from a gunshot wound. He was taken to the hospital where he's currently listed in critical condition. Police believe the suspect ran from the scene down Eastern Parkway, passing the White Castle. And that was not the only shooting near businesses over these last 24 hours. Earlier today, police responded to a deadly shooting inside the Farm Boy in the Park Hill neighborhood. And last night, police say a crash on Bardstown Road led to gunshots being fired and a man in the hospital. WHAS 11's Connor Steffen and photojournalist Aspen Hester have the latest details on the investigation and how some city leaders are trying to respond.
Police continue their investigations following a string of shootings. Early Saturday afternoon, someone shot and killed a man inside Farm Boy convenience store in the Park Hill neighborhood before running off. It comes less than 24 hours after this shooting late Friday night on a busy stretch of Bardstown Road. When officers arrived on scene, they found a man hurt from multiple gunshots to the legs. The preliminary investigation found a car accident between someone riding a motorcycle and someone driving led to an argument that ultimately ended in gunfire.
I mean, we've all been there, you know what I mean? But look where we're at right now. We have social media. We have all of those impact, you know what I'm saying, things that influence our youth. So
in the wake of a tragedy,
I believe in order for us to be the change, we have to be the change, be catalysts for change.
The Office of Safe and Healthy Neighborhoods is highlighting groups tackling the issue head on.
Of course, we work inside the community, you know what I'm saying, bringing our programming and career pathways directly to the community.
The Metro Youth Cabinet being one of them.
A part of our huge and bigger part to the mission is really trying to reduce violence where we can, taking away our youth who are, really growing up in atmospheres that involve crime, involve adults who may kind of influence crime to continue.
It's going to take a big societal effort. Like everyone has to kind of come under the effort of anti-violence or lessening factor for there to be a change.
Ocean works with hundreds of groups focused on youth and youth violence prevention.
Being a part of South Louisville and seeing just the crime, you know what I mean? I put together something I felt like girls and guys could gravitate to.
Including Nicole Hayden's group, Friends of Nicole 50/50 Mentoring Collaborative.
Any little small part, neighborhood to neighborhood, community to community, block to block. If everybody in the community does their part to stop violence in our neighborhoods, in our community, in our city, then we can say, job well done.
As the city faces more challenges, here lies at least some answers. In Louisville, Connor Steffen, the WHAS 1119, on your side.
If you have any information about any of these shootings, you're asked to call the anonymous tip line using the number right here on your screen. That's 574-LMPD. This year alone, there have been over 100 shootings in the metro that have left 118 victims in their violent wake. Most of these victims are teens and young adults. Today, as part of Youth Violence Prevention Week, 9-year-old Malachi Roberts helped inspire healing and change through the Zoo Buddies program. Malachi was permanently blinded by a gunshot wound back in 2020. Today, he, along with other kids, were at the zoo using nature and animals to help combat the trauma of gun violence around them.
The parents and the kiddos alike, this is a coping and healing bomb in itself to have this interaction with animals and try to beat down the negativity that they're subjected to in their neighborhoods.
Today's Zoo Buddies introduced kids to seals and sea lions. Kids were able to get educational programs as well as behind-the-scenes opportunities, including feeding the animals. Last night, Metro Council candidates for District 4, which covers much of downtown, and District 6 answered questions from community members about how they would address rising violence here in the Commonwealth. Candidates discussed how they were hoping to work with LMPD as the department and city navigate the consent decree with the Department of Justice. Some candidates advocated for public input during consent decree negotiations as a way to build trust, and other candidates pushed to provide more funding and resources to police.
You have to understand what's going on within that district and make sure our police officers are doing the right thing, have the proper equipment.
What we need to do is to have a police department that understands they serve the people of Louisville, not the other way around.
The primary election is on Tuesday, May 21st. Recovery efforts continue in Baltimore after a container ship lost power and crashed into the Francis Scott Key Bridge. Massive cranes were brought in and crews are working around the clock to help remove the wreckage and reopen the waterway, which is critical to the economy. ABC's Chuck Syvertson has the latest.
The first sections of debris from the Francis Scott Key Bridge are now being removed 5 days after that container ship lost power and collided with the bridge, sending concrete and metal plunging into the water.
The north sections of the Key Bridge are going to be cut up and removed. This will eventually allow us to open up a temporary restricted channel that will help us to get more vessels in the water around the site of the collapse.
The governor acknowledging the impact this is having on the economy.
And the nation's economy and the nation's workers are relying on us to move quickly and to move together.
But admitting the recovery is going to take time.
And we will continue to marshal people and resources to ensure that we have everything that we need to do this work as safely, as efficiently, and as effectively as possible.
President Biden approved Maryland's request for a federal disaster declaration, which will provide help for small businesses in the area.
Because of this declaration, small businesses affected by the disaster can now apply for disaster loan assistance from the federal government.
Larry DeSantis traveled across the bridge every day. He says he was one of the last to drive over before the collapse, telling ABC's Jay O'Brien he didn't hear the bridge fall, but says he noticed one thing: no one was driving behind him.
It was an eerie feeling because there was no vehicles at all. And normally that time of the morning, even that time of the morning, because it's right there at Amazon, you'll see 20, 30 tractor trailers coming and going.
And
there was
nothing.
Meanwhile, officials say they are continuing to focus on recovering the bodies of the 4 missing construction workers.
To all people who have offered prayers, I ask this: keep offering them. The families, first responders, they will continue to need them.
Chuck Syvertson, ABC News, New York.
Experts say rebuilding the Francis Scott Key Bridge could take several years and cost at least $400 million. This disaster is similar to the deadly collapse of Florida's Sunshine Skyway Bridge back in 1980. The new bridge took 5 years to build and was 19 months late and $20 million over budget when it finally opened back up. However, experts right now are looking at more recent bridge collapses for a sense of how quickly reconstruction could happen, like the Interstate 35 bridge in Minnesota, which collapsed into the Mississippi River in 2007. That bridge was rebuilt in less than 14 months.
That one was quite an exceptional effort, and it was rebuilt in about a year. But I'm thinking that the best that they can think about here, it's about a year. And the big problem here, as opposed to the one in Minneapolis, is that you have to keep the port open.
One looming issue is the source of funding. President Joe Biden has repeatedly said the federal government will pay for the new bridge, but that still remains to be seen. Experts say the largest variable of the cost will be the design. Los Angeles Lakers star and Louisville native DAngelo Russell is giving back to his neighborhood, donating $100,000 to go towards upgrades in Algonquin Park. Russell grew up next to the park and played basketball there as a kid. Today, he said he and his foundation want to provide access for kids to be as creative as they want.
I was raised here. This groomed me. These parks gave me accessibility to do what I wanted to do and to do what I'm doing now. I didn't have an indoor gym. I didn't have a trainer that gave me that access anytime I wanted. So during the cold, during the heat, when weather played a major factor, I was at this park trying to get it in.
The money will go towards giving the park a new look and add features like a fitness center that looks like a playground. Right now, there is no timeline for when those renovations will start.